Okay, so here's something that feels like a real puzzle. We have spent decades, maybe a century and a half, building this perfect machine for maximizing profit.
Right. All the management science.
Exactly. Scientific management, total quality management, complex M&A strategies. It's all been aimed at optimizing every single bit of efficiency. We've got this incredibly sophisticated playbook.
We should have it all figured out by now.
That's what you'd think. So here's the paradox. Why, when management science is arguably more advanced than ever, are so many large established companies, well, seeing their financial performance mysteriously collapse?
Yeah, that paradox. That's pretty much the core of what we're digging into today. We're pulling our insights directly from Professor Dr. Senthil Kumar, specifically his really extensive research on entropy, VUCA, and evolving profit crisis in U.S. economy. And our mission really is simple. Try to figure out why there's this fundamental disconnect between all that management effort over the decades and, well, the actual financial success companies are seeing, especially with these turbulent macro environments.
And turbulent is the word. When we talk about that, the research points to this mix of forces. There's VUCA, which folks might know: volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity.
The standard challenges.
Right, but also what Dr. Kumar specifically calls competitive entropy. It's like this force actively working against established systems, pulling them towards disorder.
Interesting, like a natural decay process for corporate structures.
Kinda, yeah. And this toxic mix is apparently creating a profit crisis. And it hits hardest where you'd least expect it. These huge capital-intensive firms, the very ones that seem to be suffering most from, well, size-related inertia and these intense short-term financial pressures.
So we're essentially exploring why the playbook, the established one, is failing the giants of industry, and why all that management sophistication is no longer, a guaranteed shield against failure.
Right. Let's maybe take a step back first, look at the history a bit. Because from the Industrial Revolution right up to the digital age, management scholars, they really left no stone unturned looking for better profits, better results.
Absolutely. They tried everything.
Everything. Sophisticated incentive designs, TQM, total quality management. Remember that whole focus on zero defects, continuous improvement.
Oh, yeah. Big push on quality.
Massive mergers and acquisitions, building up critical IT capabilities. And we have to be fair, right? Management education did add tremendous value for decades. It genuinely enhanced quality, productivity, shareholder returns.
For sure. The sophistication achieved in corporate governance, in management expertise, it's genuinely remarkable when you look back.
There's always a but.
There is. Our sources really highlight the pivot point. Despite all that incredible success, these large firms, particularly in traditional U.S. industries, are now facing severe ongoing financial crises. It's like they mastered the old game.
Just as the rules changed completely.
Exactly. Only to find the new rules actually punish mastery of the old ways.
So where is this pain most concentrated? Because we're not talking about agile little tech startups here, are we?
No, not at all. These are the heavyweights. The problem is most visible among the large firms in what Dr. Kumar calls the scale economy industries.
Okay, like what specifically?
Think about the industrial mainstays. Metals, transportation, construction, heavy electrical and electronics, appliances, machine tools, industrial goods, automobiles, durable goods manufacturers.
Bedrock industries.
Pretty much. And historically, size, having that scale in these capital-intensive sectors, that was supposed to guarantee stability, competitive advantage.
But the research shows the opposite is happening now.
Precisely. And for you, the listener, this is maybe the key takeaway from this part. The data reveals this growing separation, this disconnect between traditional organizational metrics like just sheer firm asset size and growth and the actual measurable financial performance, whether that's ROE, return on equity, or ROA, return on assets.
Wow. So the size of your balance sheet, it just doesn't reliably correlate with success anymore in these industries.
It seems not. Size, which used to be the protection, the moat around the castle, it might now be the primary liability. It's weighing them down.
This research really seems to take a wrecking ball to some core assumptions, things we were probably all taught in business school.
It's challenging, definitely.
Because Dr. Kumar doesn't just diagnose the financial pain, he challenges the whole field of management itself. I actually want to read this quote directly from his work. It's quite provocative. He says, "Speaking of pragmatism, established management thumb rules and practices are having a lesser impact on firm performance."
Okay, that's the practical side.
Right. And then he adds, Speaking academically, the validity of management constructs and theories is becoming questionable.
Wow. That's a big statement. It's more than just a critique of, say, bad implementation.
It sounds like it.
It really is. It's an indictment almost of the belief system that's been central to business education for decades. It suggests that the whole organizational landscape is facing completely new conditions, related to technology shifts, changing demand patterns, new cost structures, global competition.
But the old ways of governing and strategizing just aren't keeping up.
Exactly. The firm's governance, their strategies, they're failing to adapt to this new reality.
So what's fueling that failure? If these companies are so sophisticated, filled with experts, why can't they just, turn the ship?
Well, two big things jump out from the research: inertia and bureaucratic cost.
The classics.
Right. Dr. Kumar's analysis of the Fortune 1000 firms, these are the wealthiest, the biggest players in terms of revenue and assets. It's actually shocking. Their wealth creation, how much value they actually generate, it's neither stable nor is it proportional to their massive size. It's all over the place.
So bigger isn't better, financially speaking.
It's a classic sign of severe bureaucratic cost and that organizational inertia just grinding things down. It leads straight to those diminishing returns on size we mentioned earlier.
Wait, diminishing returns. So you're saying their sheer size, their bureaucracy, their weight, it's actually costing them more than their scale is earning them.
That's what the data suggests, yeah.
But why can't they shed that inertia? Why is it so hard to change?
Well, think of them like supertankers. They were designed for stability, for huge capacity, back when the economic seas were relatively calm.
Okay, makes sense.
But now, in a global economy where speed and agility are paramount, this VUCA environment, we keep talking about that massive structure, it takes miles and, frankly, billions of dollars to change course.
Making real adaptation almost impossible.
Pretty much. They become anchors in a world that demands speedboats. So that theoretical connection, the idea that having the right management practices automatically leads to great financial performance, well, it's become totally ambiguous, especially for these giants.
Okay, so the failure isn't just about management practices not working anymore. The implications sound much bigger.
They really are. They stretch far beyond just, management techniques. The findings fundamentally challenge some major established economic paradigms, the very ideas that underpin a lot of global capitalism.
Wow, okay, this sounds like high stakes. What core economic ideas are being questioned here?
Well, the research points to weaknesses in at least three big ones. First, we just touched on it, the logic of increasing returns and economies of scale.
The idea that bigger is always better, more efficient.
Exactly. That foundational concept seems to be falling apart in these traditional large-scale industries, largely because bureaucracy and inertia are eating up any potential savings from size.
Okay, so scale isn't the guaranteed win it used to be. What's the second pillar under threat?
The whole system of corporate governance, and specifically agency theory.
Agency theory.
Remind me.
That's the theory that basically says if you align the incentives of managers, say, through bonuses or stock options with the interests of shareholders, then management will automatically act to optimize shareholder value.
Right. Pay them to perform.
But the sources here show the opposite is often happening. Managerial incentives frequently seem misaligned. And the result, you get these risky, often value-destroying mergers and acquisitions.
Oh, the ones that look great on paper maybe boost the stock short-term.
Precisely. But they actually harm long-term shareholder value, especially in these capital-intensive firms that need stability, not constant risky upheaval. It looks like management might be chasing short-term bonuses, potentially at the expense of the company's long-term health.
Okay, so scale is questioned, agency theory incentives are questioned. What's the third pillar?
It's a big one. The market efficiency paradigm.
The idea that markets are rational. Essentially, yes. The belief that financial markets efficiently and consistently price assets based on all available information and therefore reward strong, fundamental firm performance.
And the data contradicts this.
Well, the data reveals really chaotic patterns in profitability, in returns to invested capital. And interestingly, this isn't just in the old industries. It's even showing up in high-growth, new-age businesses like software and pharma sometimes. If markets were truly efficient and rational, reflecting fundamentals, you wouldn't expect to see such inconsistency and volatility disconnected from performance.
So this must be driven, at least partly, by that short-term thinking in modern finance we hear so much about.
It really seems to be a major factor. Professor Kumar uses charts and data visualizations, and if you could see them, you'd witness this dramatic fragmentation over time.
Fragmentation of what?
The lines that connect fundamental metrics. Things like total assets, net income, market capitalization, price-earnings ratios. Historically, these things tended to track each other, right?
Sure, they were linked.
But now, those lines on the charts have become totally disconnected, fragmented. It powerfully illustrates the overwhelming influence of these volatile, short-term driven financial markets.
So the market's reacting to noise, not necessarily substance.
It suggests that. And this volatility, it's significantly worsened the risk for investors. It means the underlying fundamental health, or even just the sheer asset size of a company, is no longer the primary driver of its market valuation or perceived success. Short-term sentiment takes over.
Okay, so let's try and pull this together. We have these massive traditional firms caught in the bind. On one side, you've got these incredibly challenging external environment, extreme VUCA, this entropy pulling things apart.
A really tough external picture, yeah.
And on the other side, devastating internal failures. Dr. Kumar calls it short-sighted management and dysfunctional organizations.
Yeah.
It's like the supertankers hitting icebergs, but the captain is still using maps from, 1980.
That's a pretty good metaphor, actually. And given that the external environment, the VUCA, the turbulence isn't likely to just go away. In fact, it seems to be worsening the risk for everyone involved. Investors, the economy.
Right, things aren't getting calmer.
No. So the strong implication from the research is that the system itself needs a critical overhaul. The sources really stress that fundamental change has to happen in two main areas.
Okay, what's the first area needing an overhaul?
First, we have to change how financial markets assess these large, capital-intensive, and also labor-intensive firms. The current metrics seem obsolete.
How so?
Well, they still often reward sheer size or short-term earnings beats when maybe they should be rewarding things like flexibility, resilience, the ability to adapt, long-term health, especially in this high-entropy, unpredictable environment.
So new scorecards are needed for the market. Makes sense. And the second area for change must be internal then, like a governance fix.
Exactly. Corporate governance practices need a radical rethink, particularly the role and the actual function of the board of directors.
Why the board specifically?
Because if the old assumptions about size guaranteeing success are broken, then the governance structure, the people at the very top, must evolve to prioritize adaptation over just maintaining stability. The research implies that the failure of boards to really demand change, to challenge that deep-seated inertia, is actually part of the core problem. They're not steering the supertanker effectively for these new waters.
Okay, so this really brings us back to the central finding, doesn't it? That relationship between firm size, the established management tools we've relied on for decades, and actual performance. It's getting profoundly weaker across many critical industries.
It really is. And that forces a total reconsideration, not just of tactics, but of the fundamental art and science of management itself.
Wow. Okay, so this deep dive, drawing on Professor Kumar's work, really shows us that decades of sophisticated management tools, everything we thought we knew, are kind of being rendered ineffective.
Yeah, neutralized almost by these dual forces of external VUCA and entropy and internal inertia and bureaucracy.
And it's transforming size itself from what used to be an asset into potentially a profound liability, especially in those big traditional industries.
That seems to be the uncomfortable conclusion.
Which leaves us, and you, the listener, with a really powerful thought to ponder, I think. If sheer asset size and all those established management practices no longer guarantee profitability or wealth creation, what fundamentally defines a healthy, high-performing, capital-intensive firm in this chaotic VUCA world?
Right. What does good look like now?
Exactly. And if size itself can be a trap, what new metrics should corporate boards actually be prioritizing? What should they be measuring and demanding to ensure their ship, their supertanker, can actually turn quickly enough to survive, let alone thrive, in the turbulent waters ahead?